line, just go to YouTube, type Pan-African Television, and you'll see Hot News Live over there. You can comment, leave your suggestions, questions, contributions, and all of that over there, and I'll be reading, those ones out for you. My name is Justice Appiah, and tonight on Hot News, we are looking at, our electoral system. You know that we have some months away from December 7th, where we'll be having general elections to elect another president and parliamentarians as well. The Electoral Commission very soon will start activities, going into the 2024 elections. But I would want us to focus our attention on a statement made by a former electoral commissioner in person of Dr. Kwadwo Afarijan, who says that the Electoral Commission should not impose its decision on the political parties. They should try to reach a consensus with the various political parties and all of that. Over the years, we've seen allegations, we've seen accusations, we've heard all these things from some of the political parties accusing the Electoral Commission of imposing its decision on the parties. We've had instances where some individuals had to take the Electoral Commission to court and all of that. The former Electoral Commissioner thinks that that is not the way to go. The Electoral Commission should try as much as possible to reach consensus with the political parties rather than imposing its decision on these parties. So we are going to be looking at the electoral system of Ghana, the Electoral Commission of Ghana as a whole, its mandate, and what they can do and what they cannot do, especially once we've entered into the election year, and very soon we'll be going for our polls. I'll be joined in the studio by Mr. George AC, Director of Communications for NADMO. He is a member of a New Patriotic Party communications team. Mr. AC, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you?
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Happy
Good.
New Year.
Many happy returns to all of us and our viewers.
Also in the studio with me is lawyer Abdul Fattah Al-Hassan, popularly known as Lawyer Jofa. He is a private legal practitioner based in Ashaiman. He is also the parliamentary candidate for Yendi constituency on the ticket of a National Democratic Congress. Lawyer, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Justice, thank you for having me, and good evening to you and to your cherished viewers.
Right.
Thanks for having me.
Happy New Year.
Many happy returns, and good evening to my big boss,
Good evening,
Mr.
Council.
George.
Right. It's been a long time. Where have you been?
Yes. It's been activity-packed moment for us. We have started our activities much earlier. We have felt that being an opposition party, you cannot wait for the whistle to be blown before you start running. So you have to start early because. So we were in the constituency. We've done a lot of engagements, especially in the communities, and we are hoping to even scale that up in the coming weeks and months going into the elections.
Right. All right. So I'll start with you, lawyer, on the mandate of the Electoral Commission. We will take it from the legal aspect of what the Electoral Commission is mandated to do, what they can do and what they cannot do. Over the years, we've had IPAC, where all political parties are supposed, to be part of a certain, meeting in order to advise the Electoral Commission and all of that. But sometimes when they make their submissions, the Electoral Commission, pays deaf ear to some of those submissions and opinions shared by the political parties. If you ask the Electoral Commission, they tell you that IPAC is just an advisory body and that opinions and decisions of political parties are not supposed to be taken hook, line, and sinker by the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission can decide to adopt, to accept some of these decisions or opinions of political parties or not. But Dr. Afarijan thinks otherwise. He says that the Electoral Commission should try as much as possible to reach a consensus with the political parties rather than imposing its decision on these parties. What do you make of that? Do you think that the Electoral Commission has been imposing its decision on the political parties at all?
Well, Justice, thank you so much for having me again. Well, ideally, if you look at our laws, the Constitution and other laws of the land kind of make the EC, the Electoral Commission, an independent body. And so the Electoral Commission is not supposed to take instructions from any institution or any group of either political parties or persons.
Okay.
You understand? But if you look at the whole electoral process, it's a process that has to do with carrying people along. And whenever you are entrusted with a mandate to carry people along to a particular destination, then consensus building is key. If you look at the past electoral commissions we've had, if you look at the past works of the commission, in the past they have been more collaborative, more consensus building, more consultative in the activities as opposed to what we have today. Okay. In the past, in fact, if you look at the cases that have gone before our courts, they have sought to expand the rights of individuals by way of exercising their democratic rights, like in terms of their participation in elections and then their right to obtain voter ID cards and all those things. So if you look at the entire fabric of our society, we are all looking at a way to ensure that citizens' right to vote is not in any way curtailed, and that if nothing at all, the right to vote is enhanced. And so whatever measures we are putting in place as an electoral commission, as an election management body, it should be geared towards expanding avenues for people to have access to exercising the right to vote.
Is the electoral commission not doing that?
The current electoral commission we have is the other way around. In fact, it is involved in conscripting people's right to vote to the extent that you can even tell me that passports, which I have to acquire by using my birth certificate, you understand, can qualify me to register as a voter. But then the birth cert, which I have used to acquire the passport, does not qualify me to be a citizen to vote. And we are even moving to a situation where the Electoral Commission feels that the sole document for identification for the purposes of voting should be the Ghana card. To me, it's sort of the Electoral Commission focusing on expanding the avenues to enable more people access the right to vote. All they have recently been engaged in is attempts to rather put hindrances, to put blocks on the way of people's right to vote or people's attempt to exercise their right to vote.
Right.
You know, and then the Electoral Commission does not live in a vacuum. That is why, you know, we have what we call the Political Parties Act, which is Act 2000.
Yeah.
Political Parties Act 2000. Now, the Political Parties Act also gives some powers to the Electoral Commission to manage our political parties. In fact, if you look at Section 15, it even gives the Electoral Commission the power to even expunge names of political parties that do not have offices in certain, at least you are supposed to have a national office and regional offices.
Yes.
When you look at today as we speak, in our books, we have over 29 registered political parties. In fact, somewhere in 2022, somewhere in October, the Electoral Commission came out to say that they were deleting about 17 political parties from our books, leaving only 12. Now, we have all come up with this nice idea of having an IPAC, where we feel that we can have all Ghanaians coming to sit in one forum to take decisions and shape our electoral processes. Yes, we know there are laws, but you see, laws by themselves cannot cure all the ills of society. And so you kind of need people to share ideas and to shape the processes going forward. And so we have this nice establishment called the IPAC, which is the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, made up of political parties. Of late, but we had times that IPAC was IPAC because the parties that constituted IPAC were parties that had relevance in our electoral processes. Today, if you ask any Ghanaian who is what he sought, he will tell you that there are only two parties in Ghana, two political parties, NDC and NPP. And so for me, the way IPAC even used to operate before now should not be the way it should operate today. Because most of these parties, if you tell me we have 29 political parties, when we are going into election, the last time we went into the election, we didn't go with more than 6 political parties. Yet, when they go to IPAC to take decisions, they give room for all the 29 to vote. And they will tell you that the decision is going to be based on the numbers. Now, even if we are saying we should vote, it should not be that blanket way of voting. It should be equitable. So that if I have some level of muscle, if I have representation in parliament, the voting powers I have should not be the same as what somebody who does not have a single member of parliament. You understand?
Right.
Now, in the past, the IPAC used to be a consultative and a consensus building platform. But today, it has turned itself into just an information sharing platform where you come sit, then the EC comes to throw at you the information or whatever, the decisions they have made indoors. And they don't allow for inputs to be taken. You see? Yet, these are the same people who would want you to come. Now, when you go and sit on such platforms, and they throw their decisions at you, and then they get these mushroom political parties to agree to their decisions, because these mushroom political parties, in any case, they don't even exist. You understand? But they are there just to make fun of our democracy. Now, they will come, and then these people will vote. These small political will vote to accept some of the otherwise biting decisions they come up with. And then they'll say the IPAC has taken a decision. And so, little wonder the NDC took a decision since the aftermath of the 2020 elections not to show up at IPAC. I would have even suggested that they still stay away from IPAC, but the party leadership has made a decision to go back. Because even the reforms that have been proposed by NDC, you find that the EC is not ready to take it. So it's like the EC is just embarking on its own agenda. And so it does not take on board people's ideas. For instance, one of the proposals NDC made was the fact that, you see, IPAC should now be made a regulatory body, or it should be given a legal backing. Sorry. Because as we speak, like you have indicated, it's an advisory body.
Yes.
You understand? So you can choose to take a decision. That is not to say that it will erode the independence of EC. The EC's independence can still be respected. But when you look at the way IPAC is, it should be possible to take certain decisions at IPAC and then agree that it's binding. But when you take decisions, and even at the point of taking the decisions, you have somebody who has already sat somewhere to take a decision and comes to impose it on you. So you ask yourself, what purpose does this serve? And then the voting pattern. It shouldn't be all 29 political parties coming to have equal voting power. No, it doesn't make sense. When we know, in actual fact, it's only 2 political parties that are in existence. You understand? And a lot of other reforms. But the current EC has boldly indicated its willingness. Today, they are talking about doing away with the indelible ink. And they are even talking about closing voting at 3 p.m. These are all things that, if you don't engage people very well, and then take input from people, you will not be getting the other side of it too well. Sometimes, it is not all about having your way. Sometimes, you are better off listening to other people and having reasons why you can't have your way to enrich your decisions. In fact, the EC as a body should be interested in enriching its processes rather than just playing with the laws. That is why when we have our laws, when we have the Constitution, they will tell you that there are orders, regulations that may not be contained in the Constitution. So they give powers for Parliament to make certain decisions. Again, you understand, and other bodies to make certain decisions. And so it is not the case that everything we have concerning our electoral processes are contained in our laws. That is why cases like Tenadi versus Attorney General, cases like Ahuma Okansi, and all the election-related cases, that is why they have all come to expand the frontiers of our voting rights. You understand? And so, to me, as we speak, the current composition of the Electoral Commission has much work to do in terms of building consensus and getting the trust of people, because you need to move along with the people. You understand? And by moving along, you have to be seen to be receptive of ideas, and not to be seen to be somebody who imposes your ideas on people, when ideally, the whole electoral process is built on trust.
But if the Electoral Commission is working within the confines of the law, and a certain political party feels that they have an idea, and so at all costs, the Electoral Commission should consider their idea. So if the Electoral Commission doesn't do it,
so where in the law does it say you should have an IPAC? There's no such provision in our laws.
But there have been instances where, ideas and some opinions shared at IPAC have been considered by the Electoral Commission.
Yes, but I'm telling you that the current composition, the current Electoral Commission, is a far cry from that reality.
Why do you think that the current composition is doing so? They wouldn't want to really consider.
Yes, because of their attitude in the past. Look at the recent limited registration exercise we did.
Don't you think that some political parties are also expecting so much from the Electoral Commission? So once the expectations are not met, it becomes a problem.
Justice, if there are Supreme Court decisions to say that Article 42 of our Constitution, which gives us the right to register to vote, you understand? If there's that Supreme Court ruling or decision, and at the time that we have district assembly elections coming up, it's as important as national elections. See, when the Constitution says elections, they're not talking about national elections. And you are telling us that you would do a limited registration for the purpose of just district assembly elections. Are you now placing district assembly elections as second fiddle to the main elections? Yes, even if it is, the right to vote you cannot at one point say that your right to vote at the district assembly election is not as important as your right to vote at the main elections. The District Commission took a sole decision that for the purposes of the district assembly elections, it is going to conduct only limited registration exercise to the extent that you can only get up from anywhere you are. Wherever you are, unless you go to the district EC office, you will not be allowed to register. Now, that is a serious curtailment of somebody's right to vote. In fact, in my constituency, day in, day out, we were barring people. Because, you see, some of our rural folks, they don't see the importance of this. And so, if you ask them to come and register, they look at the distance and they will not register. Meanwhile, they are also your stronghold. You understand? Now, if you don't make it accessible to them, even voting at the district assembly, they have the right to register. And you are telling us that come 2024, like as we speak, you will open room for more people to register towards the main elections. The question is, are you now saying that the same people could not have registered to vote or did not have the right to vote in the district assembly elections? It's an election. And this was something we drummed home. We brought to their attention that leave it, at least if you can't even do it at police stations, let's limit it to electoral areas. You understand? So that it will be a little closer to the people. So that it will be seen to be respecting people's right to vote, not conscripting the right to vote. But look at what he did. It was chaotic. And at the end of the day, we didn't have even 30% of the entire population of people who qualified to register registering. We didn't have that. And so it still leaves a huge number to be attended to. You understand? And so the whole attitude of this electoral commission is not one of consensus building, it's not one of consultation, it's one of information sharing. And for us, that body IPAC should not be limited to just sharing of information. That is why we feel that today as we speak. But if you listen to Afarajan's lecture, he has made serious castigations to the extent that he feels that at the moment we seem to be moving backward in terms of our electoral gains. The gains we had made in the past, we are losing those gains. And we at this point we should not be talking about retrogressing. In fact, in every facet of our life we should be moving forward. But this current electoral commission, the composition, is one that if we don't take our time, it will plunge the nation into serious chaos.
Right, I'll come back to you, lawyer. Thank you so much for your submission. Viewers, you're still watching Hot News right here on Pan-African Television. With me, Justice Appiah. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can leave your suggestions, questions, contributions, and all of that over there. I'll be reading those messages out for you. Those of you who are also watching us on your screens, we have the WhatsApp text line over there. You can leave your suggestions, questions, contributions, and all of that, and I'll be reading those ones also out for you. Now, let me come to you, Mr. Isi, on what Afarajan has said, Dr. Afarajan has said. It makes a lot of sense, I guess.
Thank you. Good evening again to council. Good evening to you, production crew, and our viewers. Yes, Dr. Kojo Afarijan himself is an institution when it comes to election matters. And is arguably the longest serving electoral commissioner. And yes, and I stand to be corrected. I thought the IPAC itself was formidable when he was the commissioner.
The commissioner.
Yes, by that I'm just trying to say it actually came into reality being when he was the commissioner. Inter-party advisory committee is for advice, and I don't see how it can be considered to be a regulatory body. Council, you understand the law, because the parties are major stakeholders, major players in the arena. Okay, and so are they going to regulate the processes that is going to get them to be players on the field? Okay, that is where
I was talking about the fact that IPAC should be given a legal, backing. And so
yes, he suggested regulatory as well. That's where I want to disagree. Okay. But the legal backing to be what? Because it will be at variance or it's contravene. He understands the law. It will contravene Article 46, the independence of the commission. And so that because the law says no individual nor group authority can impose anything on the EC.
But if
that's how come it's good we have an advisory body.
But if we are saying that IPAC is an advisory body,
yes,
and they will go for IPAC meetings, these political parties will come up with suggestions, ideas, and then would go a long way to advise the EC. And consistently, the EC is not taking such advices from the political parties. How useful then
the
is
history and precedents that support that? It's replete.
But we've had political parties who have complained.
Yes, from Afarijan's time, almost every reform that was carried out came through the IPAC.
Okay.
The opaque ballot box and all those things came through there. It was the NDC that felt, they had put one or two issues and the commissioner was too brusque to maybe rebut or disagree, and they thought that wasn't the right way to do it. And so, they disagreed, and instead of staying within to push their issues, they decided to walk out. You get it? And decided to even boycott it for a period. I'm happy Council said here, and I know the NDCs decided they were going to go back. I thought it's proper because you are not going to boycott the elections. They participated in 2020, even though they had boycotted IPAC. They were major players in there. They will be major players in the 2024. And so I think it's proper they are in there to put their suggestions. They came with some number of point reforms. They're very, very, very forward-looking. Yes, very, very forward-looking. It's good to make the case at the IPAC. And those other parties, those parties, there's a term, I want to use that term, forgotten. They go into hibernation, and then he, Council and his people will go and wake them up. We will also go and wake some up. They will go to them and vote. You get it? So he's right. You get it? They become latent. Yes, that's the word I want. They become latent, and then when they are needed, we, the two major players, go to wake them up. And depending on the numbers you get on your side, you go and win your case there. And I agree with Council, it's not proper. You get it? He's made the argument of proportional representation. You get it? If you cannot have a seat in Parliament, your clout cannot be the same as the parties that have seats in Parliament. And again, the law says you must have officers 1/3 of the nation, and some don't even have more than 10 officers. Yes, okay, they don't have that, and yet they function. Some are even one person or party. one person, if you mention that there's a Kofi Wayo party, it's the only face. Ekuyadongo's party, she's the only face you get. And so these are issues that I think Afarijan is called. I agree with him. We should go by the consensus.
You talked about the fact
very
that
important.
When I asked you of the usefulness of IPAC, simply because sometimes some of the political parties will make suggestions and the Electoral Commission would not really consider those. He said, "Oh, it's the NDC that feels that they made some."
They made.
Now,
they didn't feel they made.
Now the question.
They felt the response was yes,
right,
okay.
right. It does appear as though the former AC chair was actually talking from an informed position by saying that do not impose your decisions on the political parties, right? So then it means that he has actually sensed that the Electoral Commission is then imposing some decisions, their decisions on political parties.
If I dive into Google right now, I'll get audios of Afarijan telling us to go to hell. All of us.
But they all do.
Yes. No. He was fair.
Yes.
Yes, you cannot impose your destinies on them because he stands by 46. You get it. But, at the end of the day, he listens. He listened to the suggestion. Most of the reforms, as I said, and two, it eases the tension at the IPAC arena.
Do you think that after Afarijan, the electoral commissioners we've had so far have lived up to standard?
Oh, all of them. That's the way they will pray. Because Afarijan himself is part of all the achievements he had. We had problems with him. The NDC had problems with him.
But you had a lot of problems with Charlotte Osei.
Yes, and the NDC is having problems with Jane Mensah. You get it, which is unfortunate. But it tells me, yes, maybe they are doing something right, okay? Because they will not allow you to infringe on their rights and authority, okay? Or they wouldn't want you to usurp the authority, okay? So they will want to jealously guide and protect that, whilst they still leave rooms for suggestions that can lead to reforms. And they've taken some reforms on board along the line. The consensus building is very important, and we need to go by that. Parties, as I said earlier, stakeholders, let's see how we can continue to build and then carry out reforms from within. If you go for the IPAC meetings and you put suggestions on board, that like the ones they've brought, the number of them, if they make the case there and somebody rubbishes it, everybody sees that it is a deliberate effort to stifle the progress because it's coming from this angle, okay? Then we can all see that no. But if you put it there, you should have the heart that people will disagree with you.
Right.
Okay? And so when they disagree with you, including the Electoral Commission, then you also restructure and see, okay, how can I put the case and make a case to get people to appreciate what we are doing? There are some instances that my own, one of the deputies, Bosman Asari, is made statements that any political watcher, any watcher on the electoral scene will not be too comfortable with, okay? Again, very brusque and like responding directly to the NDC, okay? And NDC is a stakeholder, so you don't have, as a referee, to making them feel unwanted, uncomfortable, okay? And disrespected, especially by a commissioner. You get it? So on that score, when the NDC makes that argument, I tend to agree with them that yes, his conduct is not, acceptable, okay? It's a bit repulsive at certain times. But he's also come to make a case that I did this because of ABC. But it's not right. It's not. You're a referee. If somebody, a player does something, you don't go that way. To suggest that you don't even like that player. So that's one angle that I thought.
And the commissioner herself want to shut the then General Secretary of the NDC because he was laughing at an IPAC meeting, it was uncalled for.
No, she felt, so that's, you see, individual differences. General, that's how he is. He will laugh, But the woman didn't understand why he was laughing at that time, too. You get it? And so he felt he was ridiculing him. And I thought that was also emotionally not right on the part of J. Mensah. You get it? Then a general secretary. You see, it's good when IPAC calls meetings and the chairman and general secretary of the parties are in there. It tells you the importance they attach to that meeting. You get it?
Don't you think that we are seeing
it
all
wasn't
this,
right?
We are seeing all this
that happened
because of politicization of the Electoral Commission, a situation where now people are accusing the current government of appointing core party members to the position of electoral commissioners.
Well, if there's evidence that somebody is a core party member and has been appointed there are legal remedies available. He's a lawyer. He understands that. There are ways that, Council Jofa can move and then...
But it's already a matter in court.
Yes, you get. So let's see how it goes through. There are legal remedies available. So we can use that anytime, You get it? Now, the issues that have come out, which Council raised about birth certificate being the primary document for a passport. And so, Council, I disagree with you on that. Being a base document to acquire a passport, true. So why, and the passport is qualified to get you registered, but the birth cert is not. Council, you might as well ask, why is it that I use my birth cert to get my passport? I table my passport at the U.S. Embassy and I'm able to fly to New York. And yet, when I go with a birth certificate for this thing, it cannot qualify me to go. Why? No, because that's the argument you are making. Okay, so that is a moot point. We don't go there at all. Now let's come to the matter proper. Let's come to look. We have processes to get. I support the transitions that we are going through to get Ghana card and whatever valid this thing to get us, registered. And we are moving. I'm happy that the EC itself is preparing itself to move towards the continuous registration model, right? Where, once you get 18, you are there. That's why there's got to be that sync between EC and national identification, so that once you are 18, automatically you are rolled on to that, because we have a central database. The argument of closing at 3 o'clock, this one is, we can still engage. We have 1 year to go. We can still engage. I think the engagement it's doable. It can be done. But I don't think this is the time for us to do that now. You get it? We can all finish voting before 3 o'clock if we want. Some people stay 1, 2, they go to farm, come before they come to vote. You get it? If we want and we know it's 3 o'clock, people will operate within it. But because of the remote areas overseas and all those challenges, let's analyze it better. And then going into the future, we can consider some of those things. So reforms will be going on. We may agree to disagree, but a lot of reforms have come through the IPAC. I agree with Aforijan. Let's not be imposing. We have the power and authority, but let's engage fruitfully and constructively. But where we think bear the position of law, we must implement it. The law gives you the chance to do that, and let them do that. We shouldn't be seen to be taking their powers away from them.
Do you think that the Electoral Commission in its current form has really engaged enough in terms of engaging the political parties?
Yes, they engage.
Though they go for IPAC meetings, but the political parties come out to tell you that when they go to IPAC meetings, EC only comes to inform, to impose their decisions on them, and we are done. Go your way. Go away.
No, it's people are having that perception because a major stakeholder is not attending IPAC, okay? And so it doesn't engender serious debates, okay? Or consensus building by making a case to make progress.
But something actually, informed their decision not to be part of IPAC. I'm talking about the NDC.
And they are wrong. They are wrong. They are wrong. I say they are wrong.
And they feel that they are not.
Yes, they are wrong. They are wrong. The use of, there was a certain by machine and co. Which I was there. I was at that hotel, Indum's hotel, when that day they walked out. I was there. Because I felt, oh, why is this a matter that will make you go away like that? But whatever it is for the good of our country. Okay, consensus building diffuses tension at IPAC platforms, okay? And then people then begin to say, okay, even if they didn't take it, we got a chance to make a case, okay? We make our arguments, and it was considered, but it was shut down. Fine, you get it. And ultimately, the EC has, so the person gets fulfilled and satisfied. I tell you, ultimately, the EC will factor it into it. Last one, the MPP disagreed a lot with Madame Charlotte say, especially when he said, well, I saw it, I love it, the dead that you can go to hell. You get it. Why would you be speaking to a stakeholder like that? And Madam Jane has also made certain statements that is, as I said, wasn't too palatable, okay, to the NDC. But all these things are brought on the table as we build on and we move on, okay? And he said there's some integrity issues and co in the system, and then he cautioned about going to court and co. Incidentally, the director of legal of the NDC and my boss, director of elections and research, have both disagreed with Afarijan on that score, okay? On that score, that going to court should be, some people, parties should be sanctioned and go. It's akin to gagging, okay? We should leave that arena. Yes. If you go, the court itself has systems of punishing you if you brought a frivolous case. The court itself has a way of punishing you. So let's allow the court to do its work. So far, I think it's a good lecture that he gave. He's observed from the bench, and as an experienced participant in the arena for so many years, and from the bench, I pray the current electoral commissioner and her team take a leaf from what Dr. Farijan has said.
Right, I'll come back to you, but let me take a few of our messages here. This one says, Justice, EC can do whatever with their lie. Corruption, GM, all the way, come 2024 by Kennedy Aboro from Bolgatanga. Thank you so much, Kennedy, for your message. This one says, tell Mr. AC, please put away your party lens. How different is the commission from the previous ones? It is because all the members belong to the New Patriotic Party. Well, Mr. AC says if you have evidence, you know what to do. You cannot just, level, allegations like that. Okranking watching you live from Yendi. Thank you so much for your message. This one says, good evening, Mr. Justice. Extend my regards to our vibrant lawyer, Jofa. In fact, Dr. Farijan is a great man in the history of Ghana's democracy. For Jane Mensah, her ineptness will put this country into chaos, because we will not allow her to even try to repeat what she did for Mr. Super Incompetent, Nana Danquah Kufuado by Tijani. Okay, thank you so much for your message. Good evening. Wonderful submission by our incoming Member of Parliament for Yendi constituency. My greetings to the host and lawyer Jofa and to Mr. AC. This is coming from Yakubu JB in Yendi. Yakubu, thank you so much for your message. I'll come back and then read those other messages I have over here. But you would want to respond to Mr. AC. I mean, some of the things.
Yes. On the, I think largely we are not at different wavelengths. We have largely agreed on some of the issues.
Right.
If you look at the requirement to register people to vote, like I was talking about how the current EC has not done so well. There's supposed to be that continuous registration. And as we speak, since after the last election, since 2021 till date, we have not seen the EC registering people continuously.
But the EC says that they are district offices are opened. And
they don't
so
register.
all year round, you can just pass by any of the
nothing
offices.
Happens. If you go
outside
outside the period they allocate for registration, if you go, nothing happens. They don't register anybody.
Well, there's a law that ought to be passed.
Yes. Yes. You know, the Supreme Court made a decision that from your election petition, some lessons.
Because you know the excuse they give is that there's going to be a continuous registration.
Yes.
And this is going to be all year round. So if you're unable to register, you can pass by any of the district offices or any of the offices at any time.
The continuous registration envisaged by the Supreme Court decision was after at all times. It's not about election year continuous registration. It's at all times. And that's what we have not seen happening.
That's when you 18 years kicks in.
Yeah. And Afarajan in his lecture made another startling revelation and some serious commendation. When Mr. Isi talked about the court issue, he said election petitions should not be thrown out merely on grounds of technicalities.
Yes.
And that's good. Interesting. You see, as for lawyers, if you leave the game to us, we know how to handle each other.
Right.
But you see, matters of election are not just matters for lawyers. That is why at some point he even said that if you feel that a particular lawyer has not run his case the way he should, don't punish the voters simply because the lawyer has not done a good job. Yeah. Because the votes, the Constitution itself gives you, at least all stakeholders, the power to protect the right of the people to choose their leader. Right. And so your interest should be in protecting and preserving that right and not using technicalities to sidestep those rights. And that brings into sharp focus the issue of the refusal of the Supreme Court to allow Jean Mensah to mount the witness box, merely on grounds of not even a law, CI 47, which is a mere, we call them, they are mere regulations. But they are just rules that when they even come into conflict with acts of parliament, they ask the president that she can decide that the Supreme Court should not mount the box. And so the Supreme Court should go ahead and make a decision based on the evidence. Yeah, and Leon's to your advantage. You see? It leans to your advantage. It's legal. It's legal. Let me tell you the harm it does to our elections. Okay. Look at what happened in the 2012 election petition. Yes. Look at the reforms that came out of it. But you went there empty-handed, counsel. See, if Afarajan had not mounted that box in 2012, the reform we saw, which have helped to enrich our would not have come up. Yes. In this instance, the Supreme Court protected Jean Mensah. No. Yes. We compelled Afarajan to mount the box because we had used evidence compelling. You didn't go with one principle. Those are the things. Let her mount the box. Let the question. You don't just mount box. No. What she has to say. And let's see if there will even be further reforms that need to be taken up. Bring documents to push her into the box. You didn't do that. It's actually different from that of the 2020. That's where the technicality advice comes in. And he's the lawyer. Yes. Judges also focus on technicality. Yes. Let's get the voters' votes respected and counted, regardless of whatever technicalities in our laws that any lawyer can fall on. You understand? Right. And then on the issue, when my brother talked about evidence regarding the current composition of the EC, I think he knows it so well. He knows that one of the commissioners was once a communicator. In fact, one was also a communicator of the New Patriotic In fact, to the extent that you see, they have just polarized the whole entire electoral commission. That even if you are so fair-minded, you are compelled to suspect that this electoral commission cannot be independent. There was a Hajia whose father was the original chairman. Who? Northern Regional Chairman was appointed as a commissioner on the EC. At the time the father was? Yes. No. The father was former chairman.
So that is immaterial. Okay? So no, if you make, no, I don't subscribe to that. But it happens. Okay? You see, I don't believe that by me being MPP for all these while, if I decide I want to go be on EC board and I move out and I package myself well and I'm put there and I discharge my duties well, what does it mean once I was a party man, I cannot be independent and neutral? It might be an objective. Okay? That's it. I don't need to be neutral. I need to be objective to do my job. Okay? That's why I said there are legal remedies. But having said that, we should have people. Yes, there's this lecture, the doctor's argument. That one, I said, yes, people can go because people who have brought evidence that he's a communicator and all that. Okay, no, but that is a different matter. Yes.
That Bosman Asari used to be,
nobody has brought evidence. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true.
Well, he's never denied
yes,
that.
It's not
but
true.
he has never denied it.
No, it's not true. It's not.
I know we have also.
Yeah, no, it's not true. There's nothing. Nobody has put.
We have also talked about.
People may have their soft spots for, maybe advising, but he's not officially wasn't.
But don't you think that it would have been in his own interest to deny some of these allegations out there? Once he's been quiet about it.
He's a political science lecturer, so he plays in the political arena. So sometimes it will be difficult to accept it. You go to lecture, these political science people, sometimes when they are lecturing, sometimes they take some 10, 15 minutes and, So these things are there. And somebody can, based on his submissions under such circumstances, to say, come on, you get it. So these are things that we can look at. But yes, these allegations and co, once it's so serious that you want to seek legal remedies to rectify them, Councillor Jofa and co are there to help. So let's push it. Otherwise, let's leave it at the propaganda arena. It's there. The Constitution says, the Constitution talking about EC states, talk something. Organization, no, there's propaganda. I'll say restriction of certain propaganda. There's propaganda. This is for the EC clauses.
Right. I have some few messages, unless you have something to say. But
yes. I think I was just trying to say that you see, the Electoral Commission has a lot of work to do. We are heading into a major election.
Right.
In the past, it has not conducted itself to the admiration of all. Okay. But it has a chance to regain its lost reputation. You understand? And so it should be seen to be engaging more. And like my colleague rightly said, the individual commissioners should not be seen to be responding to actors in the political space directly. You understand? In fact, sometimes where the position you occupy, in fact, it's as part of your responsibility, you need to have the heart to take some of the things that will be thrown at you. But if you want to be responding to individuals, chances are only NDC people will be throwing this at you. And so you'll be seen to be responding to only NDC people. And that will further polarize the situation. It will further deepen the suspicion that indeed you are anti-NDC. And so when you are there, see yourself as like you are the president. Everybody insults you. Everybody attacks you. But for the sake of the job you have signed up to, you are leaving all those things outside and then you're focusing on the job. When you do that, you would see that there will not be that one-on-one banter, and there will be a lot of trust that will be engendered as a result of that cooperation. And so we hope that some of the proposals being made by the NDC to the Electoral Commission, even before we come to, but they asked us to come to IPAC and submit it. But these are proposals you can take, assuming we're not even a political
formally.
No, assuming we're not even a political party. Assuming we're not even a political party that has the power to sit at IPAC, and we had this brilliant idea, will you not have taken it?
You submit it to them.
No, we have submitted to it formally, but they are saying we should be presented at IPAC.
Yes,
take it, okay. And then but we have agreed to go to IPAC, and we hope that the discussions will get better. It will be like the business as usual. And we have no doubt that if the coming elections are going to be conducted freely and fairly, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is going to clock beyond 60%.
I see.
Justice, I think it's a very fantastic submission, lecture by Dr. Kojo Afarijan, Constitutional Day lecture.
Right.
And let's sustain it going forward. I think Jane Mensah has also acquitted herself so well so far. People disagreed with her, but per the laws and tenets of the Constitution, she's discharging her duties. Let's allow her to do it. But as we said earlier, personalizing things doesn't help. Yes, doesn't help. You disagree with General Mosquito for saying ABC, it should be formal that pays on say so, and then you quote some laws to back why you disagree. Then people say, but frontally you just reply emotions, it doesn't help. So let's get, but I disagree that this election, 2024 election, I tell you, people will sleep early.
Okay.
People will sleep early. It's going to be fair,
this
free, fair, and I tell you, yes, that one. It's something that go there and let's talk about it. But I think the EC's argument, I'm not too convinced. You know why?
Why?
They are saying that because of biometric and co.
Yes,
but has the biometric been centralized? Because they are not. It's not centralized.
So they don't speak to each other.
Yes. Thank you. That's the term.
They don't speak to each
so
other.
if they can convince me that they can speak to each other now,
So
then it's okay.
At A,
yes.
and I go to B.
Yes.
At this point, I am trying.
It will just
it will
pop up
that,
and
yes, I voted at
then
A.
if that is so,
But we
then
don't
we're
have
okay.
that.
But because I'm not convinced that is the case, I think we should use the indelible.
Yes, we should
Right.
see it.
You see, because the tension is this 2024. Let's not do things that will make people be or needlessly angry. Yes. So, but we are going to win. Dr. Baumia is going to break the age for us. So, we know President Mahama. Come on.
Let me invite a few of our viewers, and then I take your last words. This one says, please tell Lawyer Jofa to stop ignoring my calls. This attitude would not help us. If we really want to recapture power, has him from Jimle. Yeah, the MPP man should stop peddling falsehood. Okay, thank you so much. So your number is here. I'm sure lawyer will take the number and then get back to you. Please check on Lawyer Jofa's microphone. By the way, I'm enjoying the show in Tamale. Amidst Amigos GH is the name. All right, thank you so much, Amigo. Thank you. Good evening, Justice. This EC composition is cause of all the. It is the cause of all the atrocities we have been through. They are all party people and are planning to rig the election to please their boss. This government wants troubles in the country. Who should? I say he should give way for lawyer and the host to talk and to moderate the program. Thank you so much for your message. This one says, good evening, Justice and your panelists. I'm enjoying your discussion. Well done. Tell Mr. George AC that I need his number. Adam from Tamale sent in that one. Adam, thank you so much for your message. This one says, good evening. I'm enjoying the show very well, but please, okay, all right, we've done so. People are complaining of lawyers' sound, but I think we've actually we've corrected it. So I thank you all so much for notifying us. This one says, okay, all right, okay. So I mean, a lot of people have sent message in that regard. So we've corrected it. Thank you so much. So you people claiming to be the producers. There's a problem with the microphone again. I mean, thank you so much. We've corrected it. I mean, we are sorry, but that has been corrected. Justice, God so good, He gave us religious parliamentarians. As a Muslim vice president who believes that Ghana must accept LGBTQ, you call yourself a Muslim. Dr. Baumia will understand that he has done a big mistake by Baba Al-Haji.
Where did he say that?
You, Mr.
That's praising you.
All right, okay. This was a good evening. Wonderful submission by our incoming member of parliament for Yendi constituency. My greetings to the host. Thank you so much.
Can I greet the Honorable Farouk?
Honorable Farouk. All right. We have a new name. Okay. All right. We have 4 minutes to go. Let's do two minutes. Lawyer, kindly do 2 minutes for me. I mean, your final words. Your final.
Okay. Justice, I think basically we're looking at the call by the former EC chair.
Yes.
Who has like he has 22 years of experience as the leader of that great institution.
Yeah.
And he has made certain suggestions, and it's our prayer and hope that the EC would see the need to pick up some of these issues, and let's move forward. One of the key things he's saying is that the EC should not be seen to be imposing its views on the political parties. And like Mr. Aisi rightly said, the political parties are key stakeholders. You understand?
Yeah.
And that is why, if you look at some of the proposals we are making, we are saying that, you see, we should have an independent body managing our political parties. Because as we speak, the EC has completely left out its mandate of managing political parties. And so it has given free field to political parties to misbehave. You understand? Nobody checks them because the EC's primary focus is on running elections. But if you have an independent body that manages political parties, and then the EC will solely focus on elections, you see that it will now have a narrower mandate and can focus and deliver on its mandate so well. That is why you need to take a deep look at the proposals NDC is making, and not just say that.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Kindly take us. You have 2 minutes.
Proposal we need to look at. So I just pray that the electoral commissioner will be a bit flexible and receptive, amenable to suggestions and co, and shouldn't be seen to have taken an obstinate stance and not movable. It should come, yes, she should be firm, she should be resolute about what they want to push, but be ready to listen, okay, and take on board suggestions to make all players in the arena feel comfortable, so that we participate. It's all for the good of our country. We go into election, there's 4 years, we come back, you win election, you go govern, you lose, you go back, reflect, and then revise your notes and come back. Then we build a country. And so Madam J. Mensah and her team, and the last one, the perception of people being politically aligned is also not too good. You get it. Let's try as much as possible to have fair-minded people. I don't use the neutral, okay? Fair-minded, objective people. And last one, Dr. Farijan saying some institutions are becoming corrupt. Integrity issues. If you are one such institution within the electoral arena, advise yourself.
Thank you so much for coming, Mr. AC. Thank you so much for coming, lawyer. This whole time will last on the program. Make a time with us, same time next week. My name is Justice Appiah, and the show has been Hot News. Let me say a very big thank you to the team, Dion, TT, DJ Money, my producer Daniel, and everybody who has been part of today's production. Thank you all so much. I'm so grateful. This whole time will last. Make a time with us, same time Tuesday once again. Goodbye.
Truly